Hello, everyone. This is Monsef Afker, and thank you so much for joining us in this new call of your divine uniqueness. And yeah, as always, happy to connect with you here, whether live or on the replay. And also very excited that Avalina Maline is with us on the show for the first time. And yeah, really excited about the energy that we will be experiencing with her and the how to say the insights and the clearance and the healing that we'll be experiencing, because I believe this is like the subject today is very important and very timely, because we are talking a lot about creating like very deep and huge change that the energies currently are supporting, and also at the same time it feels like at times like overwhelming. And so today's subject will be about the quantum alchemy and the energetic freedom. And when we talk about alchemy, it's really having this getting back to our power as creators and be able to shift and how to say like the reality becomes more malleable for us, and we remember our sovereignty as divine creators. And this is what we are, like the path we are going through. And yeah, we are also learning toward the path, because many things like old traumas or energetic blocks or like internal and external influences that come to the surface for us to shift the way we relate to them, and also transmute and release what needs to be released. And so yeah, today will be about that. It will be very I feel it will be very inspiring, very helpful call. And also Avalina will be guiding us toward the end, maybe in the middle or the end of the call. She will be guiding us on a powerful clearing transmission. So stay tuned for that. And for those of you who are new to her, she is an intuitive channel, an awakened multidimensional consciousness, accelerating and harmonizing, awakening and embodiment and transformation of consciousness. And yeah, so with that, Avalina, welcome to the show. We're happy to have you with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here too. In a exploration of current energies and current what we're being asked to do right now, right? It's we're actually, and we've heard this before, we're as a collective, we're really, hitting that dark night of the soul on a collective level, and it's playing out individually. So it's very intense times. The volume is definitely turned up, particularly here in October. And for those who are not on a conscious path, or even those who are and not practicing, diligence and discernment, it's really easy right now to fall into disassociation. So it's more important now than ever to really be aware of what we're participating in these energies. So yeah, and I love what you said about it's sovereignty, right? Like the spiritual hygiene really is spiritual sovereignty, right? Claiming our spiritual energy and power and using that to explore our divinity and your sacred relationship with life. So it's that pivotal shift of consciousness from the forgetfulness, the victimhood, the unconscious, and realizing the ever-present source within ourselves. So yeah, we're all here to embody this, and this is one way we can help move us along our path when we're more aware of all energies, right? Light and dark. So that's kind of what is being called for me at this moment, in this offering. I didn't anticipate making an offering on clearing and dealing with external entities, but it's very paramount right now. It's very you can see it everywhere. So it's a really important topic to be aware of in this moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I really can feel that, and like you said, it's time to learn how to discern, like between the light and the dark, and because sometimes it can be disguised as the light, or maybe the
Yeah.
intuitive guidance, but it's more like distraction.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
very tricky. It can be very
yeah,
tricky sometimes. The controllers or the powers that be will say, they desperately want us to forget that we have, a higher self, that we're connected to source, and even though we exist in a material world filled to the brim with many different kinds of souls and spirits and consciousnesses and different consciousness levels, they would like us to forget about our higher self. They can't control our mind as easily if we know how to connect with our higher self, right? So without understanding the worldwide agenda of really like the basis of trauma based mind control, it's harder to understand our participation in the dark constructs put in place to keep it going. So we become unknowing participants in perpetuating these sort of anti-human systems, right? So sometimes it's difficult to witness how many people, even on a spiritual path now, and how many practitioners or session providers sort of have this blind spot, and are unable to see the pervasiveness of this anti-soul agenda. So it's really important to be aware of it, because we can fall into traps and unknowingly. And it's similar to when I started tapping into the energy of this offering that wanted to come forth, and we call it like spiritual hygiene. Like, well, really, you can think of it almost like if it's hard for us to imagine today, a time when like surgeons didn't use sanitation, right? And wash their hands, right? So the first person who suggested, right, to that the connection between cleanliness and invisible microbes and post-surgical infection, was probably a laughing stock of the day, right? So, but they ended up not getting infections and recovered much faster. So there is a connection between hidden forms of mind control and the fact that so many people are caught in pain traps right now and are being unknowingly manipulated by their sub personalities or their identities that they cling to. So when we come aware of this and we can source the manipulation, it ceases to have control over us, right? So you know we understand why it's crucial, not to react to situations and others out of um, anger or violence or any kind of charge, uh, of energy, because that invites the dark energies in, right? And if we don't recognize and understand the dark forces, we can't recognize and understand the light forces. So it's not about bringing fear around it, just the awareness that so we can navigate our journeys with more grace and ease, is really important, um, right now, and I witness this a lot, happening in our spiritual communities. Yeah, so
yeah,
it's a lot to take in. It's a big
yeah,
topic.
yeah, absolutely, and very very important. And yeah, we will continue in that topic, just because we didn't have an introduction about you. I would love if you can tell us maybe a little bit about your work.
Yes, I yeah, I have to go back. I have to go back many years. So initially, when I woke up about 15 years ago now, I woke up through toning. I was doing meditations, and I instantly had a Kundalini awakening. And it was through toning that my body started to purge, physical, emotional, mental systems and patterns. Um, and since then, I did a lot with sound. I did a lot with energy healing with other people, and yeah, I've just been in complete devotion to my path, and it's ever evolving and deepening and deepening. It gets more and more exciting. The more you embody, the more magic happens, and Yeah, so I've just been sharing that with others through offerings, through speaking engagements, through private sessions, and it's morphed over the years, and new things come in. So yeah, I stay the student. I would love to remain the student because that's what keeps us. That's what keeps us exciting, right? It keeps us evolving. Yeah, so that's kind of in a very short nutshell of what I would say my personality is experiencing in this lifetime now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And talking about always being the student, because like in the beginning, like we start talking about the external influences, and sometimes we can approach that as maybe we can feel scared or afraid of that, or we may feel that others
Hmm.
are having power over us. But like, do you see that that also is an experience where we are learning, um, maybe to connect more or to remember that the outer experience, like the physical world, maybe it's not that powerful over us. Like we are still sovereign and we can create um,
Hmm.
our reality the way we want it to be.
Right. Yeah, and that's the ever potent basis, right? Is to remember that we are the creator, we are source, we are an extension of source, and and what I'm seeing at this time is we're really being called to resolve the intense emotional conflicts, to and embody the that are emotional densities in the held in the emotional body by surfacing the patterns, for witnessing, right? Because as we witness and we let go and we become more clear, we create more clearly, we create more in alignment with our higher self, we create more alignment with source, and it becomes easy, right? Becomes so easy. It's not meant to be hard, right? Our creations aren't meant to be challenging. If we run into challenge, we know we need to, set back and go, okay, what is not in flow, right? When we know when we're in flow, things happen easily, things happen gracefully and magically, and when we're not surrendering to what our higher self is wanting to create through us, that's when we get into challenge. And so we have to be really careful of what our we're allowing our thoughts to go to, right? The thoughts are the basis of where we create in this current reality, in this 3D reality. So if we're not diligent and watching where our thoughts go, we can easily jump in a negative loop pattern, and then we're not creating anymore. We're contracting, and that's not a space that we can create from, and we start creating the same things over and over, right? The same patterns. So when we acknowledge that we have the power to choose, we have the power to choose our thoughts in every given moment, immediately we start to sense, the change. We start to sense the power and of how we create and how we're creating every moment with every single thought. And there's a lot more I can go into there with how thoughts are used energetically, how that manifests. um yeah, so there's many directions we can go with this, but um ultimately remembering that in this sphere of influence that we're in this 3D matrix that we're swimming in, all this influence, is that we have the power to choose. We have the power to choose what we want to participate in. And that's when we start really creating with a lot of power. That's when we really start stepping into our blueprints of what we came here to do. And it gets more fun, right? It gets more joyous, and we start living and doing everything through love and joy, and that's what it's meant to be, right? So uh, the whole premise of clearing our field and clearing external influences is so we can create the reality with a clear intention, a clear alignment, a clear connection with our higher self, and bringing that peace and joy. And it's not hard to do. We all have the power to do it. We don't have to have anyone else do it for us. So it's just remembering. Really, it's remembering the tools that we have with us. Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so yeah, I had a question, but I think you already answered it, because my question was like, during those moments where we feel like the intense confusion or fear, and sometimes we try to remind ourselves that we are the creator of our reality, but it seems like at the time what is happening around, like in the outer reality, it seems like very real, and
Mm-hmm.
and we feel like we don't have the power to shift things. But when you mentioned that when we constantly clear our energy field from the um, external influences, we are able to be in that state of being where we can see what's happening, like
Mm-hmm.
we see behind the veil.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, and it's not only it's really taking ownership, right? Taking responsibility of what we're participating in, right? And I always like to use the phrase, you know, uh, who am I identifying with, and what is my intention, right? If I'm going to identify with the thoughts, because some of the thoughts are not ours, a lot of them are not ours, right? So we have to remember that we are not the thoughts, we're, the witnessing presence of the thought. So which one, what am I going to participate in? Which am I going to identify with every single thought and follow that portal down a rabbit hole? So always coming back to, who am I identifying with, and what is my intention? What is my intention? Living life intentionally, everything we do is a powerful shifter in how we move forward and how we get results, right? How we can use every action intentionally to attain where it is we want to go, to attain what it is we want to release. So it's a yeah, it's a powerful way to it really cuts to the chase when we can focus on our thoughts, on our mental body, because our mental body is what is controlling and causing the looping patterns of our emotional body, right? It's the thoughts that create the emotion, right? That perpetuate the emotion. When we can shift our perspective to the higher perspective of higher self, then the emotions become less forceful. They become less. They don't have the power over us. We witness them, they go through us, and we don't hang on to them. So when we become emotionally clear, which is really what we're being called to do right now, right? We're being pushed into resolving these the emotional conflicts, right? It's there's a lot of ancestral genetic components that are influencing the energy spaces lodged in our within emotional trauma, that's been hidden and buried for quite some time, and it's in the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual layers of the human body. So this is the process that we're all being, you see all the intensity happening right now, is the deep dismantling of the unnecessary patterns lodged in the subconscious layers that are undergoing this purging of unwanted primal forces that are really all the way down in the elemental layers, um, you know so that are helping resolve these emotional blocks, right? So people are experiencing a lot of sudden and intense interactions, which catalyze emotional and spiritual growth experiences. And the emotional purging usually comes with the required dismantling of removing and clearing out the subconscious blockages that is attracting external influences to help perpetuate it. And this is happening now for everyone during this time, to really cultivate emotional clarity right now. And I just realized my battery my battery went on, so I need to go get my power cord because
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to get dropped off the call. So excuse me just one moment while
Yes.
I go get my charger.
Yeah, of
Okay.
course. Oh, welcome back.
I'm back. So sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
I couldn't find the charger. All right. Again, back with my technical issues, ever unrolling since I came out of the dark room. I have to really laugh about this. Yeah.
Um, Beautiful. So yeah, you were talking about the external influences, and so my question is that when we become aware of that, we feel like sometimes we can feel like rebellious, and we may tend to try to fight with it, and we may end up in like maybe in anger or some emotions that's and this is the state that's the influences want us to be in. So
Mm-hmm.
like does maybe the clearing can like makes this process like shifting the relationships with them happen naturally, or how do you see that, like how can we approach it initially?
Mm-hmm. Well, the first thing is you don't want to approach it with that warring frequency, right? Because then it's like feeding that, right? When we want to clear something, we actually have to do the opposite of what we think, and allow the love and the compassion, and allowing, right? Allowing that energy. We have to soften, because if we really want to force and push and like, oh, I don't want this, you can almost feel like when we say that, like it tenses us up. So we really want to come back to that energetic balance when we feel the pendulum thrusting us off kilter, right? When we start falling into extremes, we can find the energetic balance by finding moderation, and in the use of our energy, right? And the use of witnessing our thoughts, our behaviors, returning ourselves back into balance before we suffer from the consequences of impulsive actions, right? Or more impulsive thoughts, right? That source from unresolved emotional blocks and extreme, inner and outer imbalances. So knowing when to act or be passive, when to speak or remain silent, when to retreat or move forward in any circumstance, right? Are one of the important keys to self-mastery. So when we gain higher awareness of this principle, through the compassion, through the compassionate witness, we enter into that 0 point, right? We enter into really being neutral, right? Because everything, it's all just energy. The thoughts, the commotion that we get the overwhelm, it's just an energy, right? And if we can remember, it's not who we are, it's just an experience that we're having as a soul in a human vessel. We fall into a neutrality, we fall into that 0 point, and this is the transcendental state that of consciousness, right? That allows us to rise above the swing of the pendulum into polarities, right? So when we're strong inside ourselves and capable to maintain neutral in the chaos of the rising and falling pendulum, right? It's only then that we're able to act in alignment to our highest purpose and our spiritual mission, right? Our embodiment of being the embodiment of our higher self in a physical form. So yeah, in choosing the importance of choosing our thoughts, to believe something or not to believe something, um, you know, when you can catch yourself, it becomes easy. It becomes quite easy. And it can, you can allow yourself to have fun with it. It doesn't have to be this big, heavy burden thing like this. Oh, I have to do this. I got to remember to do this. You just keep practicing, and eventually it becomes second nature, and you there's no effort into it at all, right? You see it for what it is, and it becomes so obvious. It becomes so obvious when uh, there's external influences that are trying to feed off your energy, right? And so when we remember that we have the power and the tools to know how to not fall into those traps, uh, that's when we step more into our sovereignty, right? So witnessing, being that witnessing presence of the thoughts, and remembering you get to choose which ones you want to entertain, right? And we've forgotten this. So it doesn't have to be hard. We take everything so seriously. We make everything so serious and so heavy, and it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be this. The spiritual path doesn't have to be separate from your reality. You make your reality your spiritual path, because everything is spiritual every given moment. And often we fall into the pattern of like, well, I'm doing my spiritual practice, I'm doing my meditation today at 3, or I'm doing this at this time, and we separate, right? So living every moment should be vibrant with awareness of what you're participating in. And when you do that, you start moving so fast, and it gets really exciting. It gets more fun, right? We get to have fun while we're here.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's like we are able to find our way or create a path within maybe the chaos where we can still find joy, and where we can create what we really desire. Like it's like from what you were saying, like we remember that like the physical reality and the external influences that are part of that, maybe at some point when we reach that point, like we are in the zero points, they are irrelevant, because we are able to see the way that really serve us better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. When you're in the 0 point, it's very clear. Everything becomes very clear, and you become very neutral, and there's no judgment of anything. And even our thoughts, right? When you're in the 0 point, you can witness and see all the patterns that you're holding on to so much clearer. And that's when they dissolve, right? So when we think of external influences coming in to our field, right? They're trying to feed off the energies that we're providing, right? So it's not that we're the ones who are actually allowing the influence to happen in a greater sense, right? So when we get sovereign over ourselves, we cut that off right away. So the emotional body and the reactions that we have, and the thoughts, the negative thoughts, are really what are the attraction that really cause us to really go in a downward spiral, right? And the way we think, it's not only impacting us, it's impacting others, right? Because every thought has a quality of light and a frequency, um, that our consciousness directs, right? And it shapes and informs, our spiritual bodies, right? It shapes and forms our aura, right? So positive and loving thoughts are going to emanate intensely bright colors and high frequency light and sound waves and shapes that shift and oscillate throughout the energy field. And as the focus of the thoughts shift and change, the patterns and the aura and the color, and they all, and the quality of the light source also shifts and changes. And the brighter and higher the frequency of light that is generated from our consciousness, the more strength, the more influence that light source has upon ourself and others, as well as the environment. So really spiritual, strong people will have that have a strong inner light that is built upon that foundation of a strong, clear, focused mind and heart. As a result, that bright light, consciously travels far and wide as it's, sort of spirally reflects outwards from within a spiritual, strong human being. And that inner light moves in many directions simultaneously and is absorbed by other souls, right, that are located within that sphere of influence. So, and that assists them in their own transmutation, right? I mean, if we've ever sat with someone, of a high vibration, or someone who's enlightened, or a guru, right? You notice how clear you get instantly in regards to your perception, and whatever drama is playing out in your field fades quickly, right? And then the opposite, right? Like the negative, unloving thoughts actually have like a dark gray, dense color, and of sound, right? And sound waves and light, and they actually can become things that gather into distorted and almost grotesque shapes and sometimes grow into an entity. And it can be littered throughout someone's energy field. It's not common that it would get to that point, but in more extreme cases, these dull gray energies that sort of start to grow and manifest, that they become dark, and they almost form walls that that block the person from gathering in and circulating brighter light, right? And someone with excessive uh, negative thoughts is going to manifest that black wall, and that acts as a covering, and it literally will repel light away from them. And it's in many cases, this kind of black force surrounding a human attracts many kinds of negative spirits, which they actually start to coexist with, and they start to identify with it as who they are, which is why it's important, because there's a lot of attacks now on star seeds and light workers, and this happens regularly. So the goal is to observe them as they are, study their nature, and understand that really what it boils down to is they're disembodied entities that are actually suffering and in bondage themselves, in tremendous trauma and pain. And to remember that it's just energy, right? And not to become fear around it. And as star seeds and light workers, we learn to discern these dark forces so we can deflect and neutralize anything for ourselves and for others. And a lot of the spiritual communities over the years have there's almost a tendency of denial, to only accept and that there's only pure light here and benevolent and loving forces on earth. But if we can be aware that there is another side, we allow ourselves to exist, we allow that to become into our awareness. If we don't, we become easy targets, right? And of control and manipulation. So as we spiritually mature, we eventually access more of the truth, right? We observe and discern all of the varied energies, both light and dark, that make up really the many realms of universal consciousness, without judgment, without fear, and remaining really neutral. So it's a real potency to acknowledging everything that's in our reality, rather than sort of trying to just stay in the light. And it's similar to like when we do shadow work, right? Like we have to move through it, right? We have to do the shadow work. So on a larger scale, it's just becoming more aware of everything that's in our 3D reality at this time. Yeah. So
Yeah.
a lot there to uncover.
Yeah. Absolutely. But I really love the your approach. I feel it's very empowering, and also how you explain that. Do you feel maybe it's the right timing for the transmission?
Yeah, we can do that. I think that would be
Thank you.
great for people to really tap in and drop in and allow for whatever's in your field that is sort of the low-hanging fruit of what wants to come to the surface. So we can all just close our eyes, really getting comfortable, just taking some breaths. We'll just see what kind of transmission wants to come through. Really getting present. So with the presence here now and the beings that are coming forth to assist us, we're going to be focusing on the throat. We're going to be focusing on the throat today. And the throat acts as like a bottleneck, right, to the flow of energy throughout our body, right? And physically, it's also the nearest part of our body, right? So there's a tremendous amount of energy that gets halted here. And this is for most everyone, right? So we've all been stifled in our expression in some way or at some point in our lives. So we want to open this area up and allow space for more freedom, because it's easy for energies to latch on to the throat that keeps us in silence, that keeps us from speaking our truth. And the more we can express through our voice, the more we can dissolve patterns. The voice is a very powerful opening. When we open our throats, when our throats become fully open, it's much easier for all the other energy vortexes in our bodies to open. So this is really a gateway where we get stifled, and lots of external energies like to come into this area and hold on, right? So I can almost feel right now the tightness, right? So everyone just take a deep breath, really getting present in your body, watching your breath. Let your breath be whatever it wants to be in this moment. Wanting to have your spine straight, either seated or lying down, just having your spine very straight and erected so the energy can flow. Feeling your sits bones, feeling the pressure of the surface of whatever you are resting on or sitting on. Breathing, just really getting present in your body, allowing all the thoughts to let go. There's nothing else other than this moment right now. Letting our minds and our whole selves be here and now. Letting the tension through your whole being, letting go of your to-do list, letting go of things that have taken place in your day so far, letting go of the conversation, really starting to feel your body relax. Imagining within each inhale, you're drawing in fresh, cleansing air. And with each exhale, you're releasing the tension, all the negativity in your body, all the tightness. Taking some deep breaths here. Taking in some enormous amounts of air here. Allowing the breath to burst through old patterns and pathways, anything that may be holding us back in this moment. Imagining the light of your higher self coming down your channel, down through your crown. Acknowledging any physical sensations you may be having. Maybe scanning the body for areas of tense muscle contraction, not stopping at anything or focusing on anything, just observing. And just bringing in the wonderful ways, the acknowledgement of the wonderful, amazing ways our body supports us and allows us to have these experiences. Just having gratitude for the physical sensations that help us experience this world. And allowing that gratitude to allow us to soften even more in this moment. You can almost feel the energy, the tingling through the body as we bring in gratitude. How it softens our energy field. It softens our physical body. Allowing your breath to become fuller and deeper. Allowing it to expand. Giving yourself space to surrender to the full trust, to identify as yourself as source, as your higher self. As we begin to do so, we begin to feel our heart center expanding its unique sound and light. Taking our attention to the heart center, breathing into the heart space, allowing our heart to expand beyond our body, beyond room beyond our town, really letting it unfurl to its natural existence with every breath. With every breath, the heart grows till it's as large, expanding past the solar system, as large as the universe, the entire universe, to where you are the universe, each one of us, an entire universe. And from this expanded space, bring your attention to your throat area. Breathe into the throat, expanding it with the breath, breathing in the back, the sides, allowing the sphere of energy that resides here to expand. You can see it or imagine the throat area as a huge sphere of plasma, translucent energy moving and swirling. A magnificent plasma field of energy, just breathing into it, allowing it to expand. So the throat is as large as your entire body, really giving it space. Notice the sensations or feelings that are present there. You might feel some tightness, some constriction. Perhaps you feel completely open and free. You may feel sensations come and go, really being present here in the throat, putting all our attention, all our awareness in the throat, giving all your attention focus. Feel what is present in the throat. What does it feel like? How are you breathing in this moment as you're feeling, as your breath slowed or quickened? Just noticing. Sometimes it can be challenging to describe what we're feeling. Perhaps you're not noticing anything, and that's okay. Often our mind wants to label and define a sensation, and it can be hard to put it into words. And if the mind can't identify it, the mind will say there's nothing there. But there's always sensation, allowing the sensation, inviting it. Full awareness in your throat. Your whole being is in your throat. Feel the tightness, giving yourself permission to allow what's there to come forward. You may feel warmth, tingling, twitching, tightness. You may feel like there's a ball in your throat. Simply feeling and breathing. So we're welcoming, we're honoring whatever's present. Before we get into the clearing, I want you to ask it to get bigger. Ask any sensation that's present to really, really express itself. This is the time to feel it. Even telling yourself and the sensations that it's completely safe to be here. It's completely safe to feel. It's completely safe for the energies and consciousnesses there in your throat to express themselves. We're all surrounded by our guides, by higher beings here to assist us. As you breathe, allowing the assistance to help us transmute all the energies being held here that are no longer serving us. So as this beautiful energy, this healing energy, this diamond white light coming down through our crown, it's a beautiful golden light, a very diamond light, pearlescent coming down through your crown to your throat. Continuing to breathe, continuing to breathe. We're just bringing in healing frequencies, bringing in more light, allowing the sensations to merge and play in the light. It's instantly beginning to clear and cleanse and nourish the throat, preparing to open our cells and DNA to the greatest experience of expansion, allowing for the greater and deeper embodiment of our oversoul. Suryo Toriandara Krishna Dania Krishna Nara Krishna. Andana, 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 andana. As you breathe in, the light is expanding and filling your entire throat, reaching deep into your body. As you breathe out, releasing any tension or blockages that you may be holding in this area, allowing that light to gently dissolve any tightness, discomfort you may feel. With each inhale, there's a deeper resonance with this energy. Letting go of the tension, letting go of the fear. It is safe to be here. It is safe to be me. I speak my truth with grace and ease. I am worthy of expressing myself fully and authentically. Breathing into the space, allowing any movement to take place, giving yourself permission to let go. Continuously noticing the pace of your breath. There's no right or wrong way to breathe. We're just noticing. Continue to notice your breath, really giving yourself permission, allowing the energy to wash away any and all discomfort, dis-ease, letting the light activate the highest potential here and now. Just taking a moment here. So we want to breathe in this new space. Keep breathing into the throat. Just continuing to opening it up, breathing in your energy, breathing in your higher self, commanding your higher self down through your channel, all the way down into your body, further coming into more embodiment, continuing to create more space for our higher self to come into our physical bodies. Taking your attention to the space above your head, all the way, breathing all the way up through your higher chakras, all the way up to source, to your source connection, to the soul of the universe. Breathing up into this channel and breathing back down into your body, bringing in the energy of your oversoul, coming down into your body, breathing the energy of the highest aspect of yourself, filling your entire body. Taking a few breaths here. Allowing the light to expand and flow all the way through your central channel, out through your skin, allowing the energy to pour into every cell of your body, all the way out to your skin, filling up your chalice, allowing that light of your higher self to pull out of your skin, filling up all of your spiritual bodies, all the etheric energy bodies, reaching all the way to the edges of your field. As it does so, as this energy of your higher self, of your oversoul, pours down into your body, it seals up all the edges, gaps, tears, all the openings where our energy field has been weak, where we have been leaking energy. Seeing all those gaps, all on the edges of our field, closing up, we're plugging them up with our energy of our higher self, of our oversoul. I command the dissolve and release of all contracts, promises to others, to ourselves, conscious and unconscious. I release all statements of promises to myself, statements of I never, disengaging from all participation of programs, gateways, portals, dissolving all inorganic technologies. Allowing yourself, the energy of your higher self, to fill you up. Taking a moment here. Taking deep breaths into all this new space we've just opened up. Breathing in your energy of your higher self. Putting the attention to the space above our head, all the way up through our higher chakras, all the way up to the soul of the universe. Breathing up the channel, down, down, all the way down to our feet. Bringing it all the way down to our Earth Star chakra, about a foot below our feet. Allowing that to spin in any direction you feel. Allowing our energy to drop all the way down to the center of Gaia. Bringing all that energy down. Breathing back up. Grounding this as our new vibration, our new foundation that we exist in. Taking a few more breaths here. Bringing your attention back to your surroundings, back to your breath in your body, coming back to a place of presence, back to awareness of our surroundings. Taking our time, giving gratitude and thanks to all the beings and guides assisted in the clearing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So it is, so it is, and so it is. And opening your eyes whenever you feel ready.
Thank you very much, Avalina. And yeah, in the end, it felt like the higher self presence and the energy. It feels like very, how to say, energy field became very expanded, like the body expanded and very present in, like more grounded and more in a stronger way. It felt like, but also like knowing what they are doing. Really. So Natasha wrote, thank you. Mary on YouTube also she wrote, thank you. Everyone, we would love to hear your feedback. You can type it on the chat boxes on Zoom or YouTube. And yeah. Also, we'll be taking questions in a couple of minutes. So if you want to talk to Avalina, you can raise your hand by pressing reactions, then raise hand on Zoom. And also you can type your questions on the chat boxes on Zoom and YouTube. And there is a feedback from Linda. Thank you, Avalina. This was such a beautiful and expansive experience. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Linda. And yeah, so before that, I would love if also for those of our audience who would love to connect with you and work with you one-on-one or through the course you are offering, I'd love if you can tell us about them, and I invite everyone to visit the link yourdivineuniqueness.com/Avalina, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Avalina, AVALINA. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description and the chat boxes on Zoom and YouTube. And yeah, so Avalina, can you please tell us what our audience can expect from that?
Yeah, so this it's a 6 weeks of weekly. It's a transmission. There's healing transmissions done with in each call, clearing different aspects of our fields. And then the transmissions and the sharings, it's really the awareness and the tools to allow us how to uncover the ways in which we give our eternal energy away, right? Through not only belief systems, but emotions, actions, and feeling programs that we identify with, right? We're constantly identifying. We create identities for survival, right? When we get into a car, we have to identify as being the driver. We have to, to the point where we don't even have to think about the driving anymore, right? It's just we get in the car and we identify with the driver. So we're constantly have these identities, and we have thousands of them. So we start to unravel a lot of these programs and imprints in the course, and that are running through our subconscious fields. And essentially they're portals, right? They're portals that allow for varying degrees of energetic manipulation and distortion. So we learn how to clear those up, and in the transmissions we clear those up, and the tools are given for you to continue to do that on your own and also for others, right? So it's modalities that you can use, as you continue on your path. So there's lots of techniques that are shared, things that are practiced together, different cleansings that we do, including fasting, a series of meditative transmissions that assist in the clearing of your energy bodies and all entities, right? So we're restoring, we're resurrecting our life force, really, and our vitality, right? So we really get to understand the nature of entities without the woo-woo and the fear of them, and to just understand parasitic programs in general, because it is a program, right? Everything's just a program, a running program, just like we would see in a computer, right? So when we can allow ourselves to remain in our power and understand that we have the power, we can dissolve those things rather quickly. So this is the this is the essence of the offering, and learning how to remain in that neutrality, and to be able to release the participation in the fear programs around it. And then we let go of the entanglement, right? We let go of the entanglement with any entities, and we become more sovereign. We become more free. We become more joy. And private sessions are also offering, and in those we uncover what's currently expressing in your reality, the most predominant frequencies that your higher self is desiring for you to resolve in that moment. And I do personal clearing transmissions with tones and frequencies, as well as channeling, channeled words from your higher self that are shared to help you move through and to move forward, and to give you the insight and clarity, to come into that deeper resonance with your higher self. So that's the basis of the series.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Avalina. And thank you for including that program, because like you mentioned, it can help our audience to learn how to discern, and also do the clearing by themselves, because it can be a journey, and we can have different experiences on our path, and having the tools and the guidance like with us can really help us to, like you said, to make this, be able to come back like to the 0 point, and then we can discern what is ours and what is not, and then we make our own choice. And also thank you for the one-on-one session for those who want to work with you and go even deeper into that subject and do the clearing. So thank you very much, Avalina. Very grateful to you. And everyone, so I invite you to sign up for one of the 2 packages on the link yourdivineuniqueness.com/Avalina, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Avalina, AVALINA. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description, and the chat boxes on Zoom and YouTube. And yeah, we have feedback from Elizabeth. Thank you, Avalina. Another beautiful clearing and offering. So much gratitude to you for all you are sharing. Beautiful. So let's take some questions. So Pamela, can you please unmute yourself?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
So Avalina, I had a very complicated entity removed because I had fallen into the naivety that the toxic spirituality perpetuates, that there is no dark energy out there. So I had really been quite ignorant and complacent. But this was actually an entity that had been with me since the Sumerian era. It was woven, and it had somehow become activated when I was awoken. Someone was able to get into my energy field. It had blocked my third eye, and there were implants around my crown chakra and the nape of my neck. So I was completely unable to connect with spirit. My guides had also been bound and gagged. But I've had to, because it had to be removed back through so many timelines. It's taken 6 weeks of healing to recover from this. But how do I get over the thought blocks that I still can't connect with spirit?
Did you say over the thought? You broke up just a little bit.
Sorry, yes, the thought blocks, because I think that because I was blinded for so long, because my ability to communicate with spirit was interfered with for such a long period. Mental blocks.
Okay, yeah. So what I'm hearing, and I was seeing this as you were sharing, is at this point, what's being recommended by your higher self is to drop into a ceremony. Create a ceremony for yourself, like really set it up for yourself. Have a water ceremony or a fire ceremony. Bring in the elements. Write out your intentions on a piece of paper. You can put it into the fire or have it dissolve in the water, however you feel called. Having candles, taking an hour of full-on ceremony for yourself to declare the dissolve of this, across all time, space, dimensions, and realities. And when you, in doing so, in performing the ceremony for yourself, you're declaring to the universe, right, that this is done, right? You're done with this. And that's because really what you're wanting and what you're desiring is the trust, right? The trust that it's gone, the trust that you have the power to not have these thoughts, right? Because it's the dangling, lingering belief system that you haven't gotten closure on, right? It's in which it can help perpetuate and keep it that way, right? So perform a ceremony and even write out what trust is. What does trust mean to you? Write it in a journal. What does trust feel like? Write all the sensations of what trust feels like, that you have dissolved this, and that you trust in your connection with your higher self, and that will build the feeling of the trust, right? And going back to that, always that definition for yourself of what trust feels like. And then you're going to start, practicing connecting with your higher self, practice getting the wisdom and the internal guidance from your higher self. Is what I'm seeing is going to be the best way, because you've done a lot of the energy work. You just need to get your mind on board with what's already occurred.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Pamela, and thank you, Avalina, for the guidance. And Gabby, can you please unmute yourself? Sorry, I muted you. Can you unmute yourself again?
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Okay,
Yes,
great. Yeah. Thank you. My question is, how can I live a life more aligned with my soul?
Well, do you have the intention, right? If your intention is there, if your intention is to have a life more aligned with your soul, then you keep bringing that in every moment, right? Who am I identifying with, and what is my intention? What is my intention in this moment? It's not something that we want it to be something that happens, right? Something that external happens. We want the flashing lights, right? And it comes from the heart, right? So if your intention is there, your will is there, you trust that that's going to happen. Trust in everything that's occurring. Everything that's occurring in your reality is your higher self. If you can shift that, right? Instead of like waiting for the sign or waiting for the right path, it's right now. It's everything that's happening in your life right now. And allow that to be your higher self, because everything in your reality is a reflection of you, right? Because you're the creator. So everything's manifesting and creating in your reality for you, for the benefit of you, for you to evolve and release. So everything that's happening in your life right now is perfect. It is exactly what you need. That is your higher self creating it for you. So we either do it consciously or we do it unconsciously. Trust in your intention to be led by what's occurring in your reality. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I always do have the intention. It's just, I guess I want bigger, like, signs and all of that. And I guess I want to stay in my heart. That's the main thing, right?
Yeah. And when you start to notice the little things, because often they're subtle, then you do start to get the big flashing lights, right? Because you're paying attention. You notice, right? And sometimes they're so obvious, you just have to laugh, right? But you have to focus your attention on your intention, right? Keeping your attention on your intention. And then also you can just practice channeling, getting channeling. I did a course on channeling years ago. It is not as challenging as we think it is. I mean, it took me years and years of thinking I couldn't channel to all of a sudden realizing when I dropped the belief that I couldn't do it. When someone said to me, "Oh, you just," and this was trance channeling, where I was, automatically speaking the words of my higher self. They just said, "Oh, you just open your mouth and you just start talking." And I literally, all it took was me giving myself permission in that moment to do it, and I instantly started channeling. Like, so we let go of the I can't do it or I don't know how to do it, and just start practicing. You can practice with a pen and paper and journal, and just ask yourself, what would my higher self say to me in this moment? And answer for your higher self. You give the answer. What would my higher self say right now? Because really all you're doing when you do that is you're giving your mind permission to answer for you. You're giving the mind permission to sit back, and you'll be surprised at what comes through. You'll be surprised at the wisdom that you have to share with yourself if you approach it that way.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Gabby, and also thank you, Avalina, for the guidance. Let's see. Tanya, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, Avalina. Hello, Monte. I will quickly stay in live. So, recently I had a dream, which was very strange. I will tell you in short, like I had some dryness in my eyes all last year, but I kind of went on diet and kind of stopped eating some stuff, and it became better. And last week I had a dream that I was in some sort of room with strange things, like for some reason I thought it was like mafia room. I don't know why mafia. And then men entered and they sprayed my face with something. And then when I looked in the mirror, I couldn't see my eyes. And so it was like a mask instead of my eyes. And I looked like closer. And I had, like little paper globe, like, but they were like instead of my eyes. And I was like, oh my God. And then I was telling my friend that they 4 men did this to me. They sprayed me and they attacked him as well. And I woke up with such a heaviness in my heart. And I'm thinking, is it my body just reacting to something? Or I was really attacked? Because again, I started feeling like dryness in my eyes. And it is very strange physical thing that I have never had in my entire life. And I cannot shake it off now for more than a year. So if you could look in my energy and just tell me.
Are you still getting dry eyes?
Yes, very dry eyes, and it affects my vision, unfortunately. So like I started not seeing as well as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just have odd dreams sometimes with energies and stuff. So that's why I'm asking.
Yeah. Well, particularly when there's lots of entities in the astral realm, right? In the fourth density, and that's their home. So many things happen in our dream state, and I've had many experiences of all kinds of different natures. So it feels like to me there's a residual energy in your field that is from other lifetimes, but to not look at it as something that's bad, right? Because things will come up and our higher self will allow it, right? Even though we may feel like we're being attacked, and maybe there are other consciousnesses there that are participating in that. But if we can allow ourselves to not have the fear around it and to welcome it. So next time you are feeling that, can you go in with open arms to it?
Mm-hmm.
Can you try a different approach? Because the fear of it, like because as you were describing it, right? As the energy, your energy was like, like, oh, this is bad, right? It's like, we're labeling it as bad, right? It's not bad, right? So that right there is it stops you from being able to like, let me open this up, right? What is this gift? What is this that I'm perceiving as terrible? Can I let go of that label and see what this is about? Can I be neutral and get curious? Because soon as we do this, that's why it's been there for so long, right? It's really simple. We have to we strip down and think it's just energy. It's just energy. There's nothing bad. If something's in my field, if I'm experiencing something and it's just, started, this year, then it's coming up for a reason. It's coming up for a reason. There are so many ancestral things coming up, particularly this past year, on a macro level, micro, everything, right? So there's deep stuff coming up. So consider it a gift. Like, wow, like I'm giving the gift of something right now that I can release. Like how awesome is that, right?
All right. See it from the other perspective.
As soon as we shift it like that, it's like, oh yeah, like I got this. Like I'm being given something where when I embrace it and I get to the other side of it, then there's more gifts, right? There's more peace, there's more joy, there's more embodiment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So allow it to not be the something bad.
Okay.
Right? Because then the warning frequency comes right in, and we get nowhere.
All right.
It's not bad. It's actually not what I'm seeing is it's actually not that big of a deal. It's in your field, but you're making it into something bigger than it is.
Bigger than it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Now I feel better.
Yeah. You're actually, what I'm hearing is you're actually going to find that you just dissolved most of it here and now. Do you feel that?
Okay. Yeah, I feel better. Actually, my eyes feel better.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's funny what we do to ourselves, isn't it? Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Melinda. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much, Avalina. And Linda is asking, where is the best place to send these dark entities once we transmute and release them? Thank you for this wonderful call. You are awesome, Avalina. Much love.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about where they go, because usually there's so much assistance right now that any being that is not in the right place, right? They're influencing a human. They are going to be escorted back to the most appropriate place for them, right? We don't have to worry about that job. If you want, you can take it a step further when you release and invite in all the angels that are, in support of the humanity's evolution to, and inviting grace to escort these energies back to a place that's more suitable for them. But that's going to happen anyway. The universe doesn't make mistakes, right? Like everything's connected, everything's taken care of in ways that we don't quite understand.
Yeah, in the end, it's like a reminder that it's a co-creation with the universe. We don't need to do it all by ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful. Thank you, Avalina, and also thank you, Linda, for your question. And let's see, Sue on the phone. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, Monisset. My name is Sue. Hello, Avina. Okay, Avina, I have a question. I think whatever happened in an ancient life of mine is now coming to surface. And it's really messing up the present of me right now. So how do I kind of intertwine whatever's happened to me in ancient times with the present now?
Yeah. I love this question.
Stuff. I'm very like the mood swings, and I'm like, what is going on? And it's been happening the last 3 days.
Right.
And it's very intense at times. And all of a sudden it'll go away. The pattern comes right back.
Yeah. Because the universe is abundant, right? The universe is abundant in all things. So if something's coming up, it's going to continue to come up, right? It's being asked for your presence. So first, let's clarify things that have happened in the past lives, right?
Right.
Yes, that's true. But if we can open that up just a little bit and think of it more as time as a spiral, and that it's all happening simultaneously, then we can, because time is an illusion, right? So everything is happening. It's like a sphere, right? And you put yourself or a circle, you put yourself on the circle, you're still on the circle regardless of where you are on the circle. And time is the same way. It's one, right? It's oneness. So did it happen? The fact that it may have happened in a previous lifetime or ancient lifetime is almost irrelevant, right? Because if it's in your now moment, then it's in your now moment, and then it's something that's asking for your attention. So it doesn't really. So if we can drop the past of it, because all that matters is right now. The fact that it's right now. And you said something in the beginning of when you first started to describe this, and I'm trying to recall the word, but that it was bothering you or causing some like a hiccup or something.
Emotion come up.
Yeah.
And it's
so
it's a pattern, and then it goes away, and all of a sudden it appears, it goes away, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Right.
But they're very
So can we drop the it's doing this to me, right? Because there's nothing happening to you. It's an energy within your field, right? And so it keeps coming up in a pattern. So first of all, we can, as the previous caller, we can step into gratitude, right? Because everything is a gift. Everything is a gift. So if it's uncomfortable, then just know that sensation is going to pass, right? So everything's transient, right? So a sensation is just, if we cannot identify with the sensation, with the pattern, it's not you. It's not personal, right? It's not who you are. It's just an experience that your physical body is having in this matrix at this moment, right? As an experience to fully experience without the like, oh no, here it is again. Can I allow it to happen? Can I allow it for what it is? Can I allow it to be there for just the energy that it is, without pushing, right? Can I surrender into it? Because the more I push, the more I look at it, as something that's happening to me, we open ourselves up, right? We open ourselves up to portals and doorways to other things. Like I'll participate in that with you. I'd love to participate in that feeling that doesn't feel good, right? And perpetuate it. So watch your perspective on how you're looking at it.
In other words, don't feed into it.
Right. You can feel it. Allow yourself to feel it without all the definitions, without all the labeling.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like, just drop the story completely. Drop the story of what happened in that lifetime and it keeps coming back. Put all that aside and just close your eyes and feel your body. And just scan your body. What is it in my body? Where is it in my body? What does it feel like? Can I just feel it and let it be? When we can drop the story, the drama falls away and we can get neutral, right? We get neutral on it. Because up until this point, you haven't been neutral, and that's why it keeps coming back and keeps coming back and keeps coming back.
Oh, okay.
And this isn't going to stop. Right? Like, and this is for everyone, like going into 11/11. It has been intense, full speed, things coming up to be dissolved, over and over, everything. So the momentum is picking up. So expect more to come up. Okay. And if we think we're going to fly through and nothing comes up and we don't have to feel anything bad, then we're going to have a bumpier ride, right? Right. Because is it really that bad?
No.
Right.
Not really.
I know.
No.
So it's
funny. It's a very blessed life. I do. I'm grateful for everything because I live a very blessed life. Compared to some people, I really do. And I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. And how awesome that you're in that position of having that blessed life to be able to process some stuff, because it's not you. You're doing it on behalf of your incarnation. You're doing it on behalf of humanity. Nothing's personal. We came in as perfect, high vibrational souls. We came in with a contract to come into whatever physical body we chose and to process all the stuff that we accumulate during this lifetime, and it's in our ancestral DNA, and that's been on the history of our all the timelines that have been in the past, right? So
Right.
Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal.
Well, it's funny. I told my husband, we were having this conversation. I said, next time I come down here, I'm not going to party on the other side, and I'm not going to drink, so I know what I'm signing on my contract. We always laugh about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Think of it as a mission. Think of it as the what is the movie? Mission Impossible. Like this is a mission. You can choose to accept it, and this mission will self-destruct. Right? Like that's your mission, to dissolve that pattern and allow it just to be the beauty of what it is. Simple.
Okay.
Let's let things be simple.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And you have a great day. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Monistet. Blessings to you also.
Thank you, Sue.
Take care.
Yeah, you too. And thank you very much, Avalina. That was inspiring, and yeah. So thank you very much for everything you shared today. Yeah, it was really inspiring call. So
yeah. Well, thank you, and thanks for putting up with me with my power and me trying to find my cord. Awesome. It's good stuff, right? Like we're all dealing with our human stuff, right?
Yeah,
we just have to laugh at it, and I mean, we have to start loving our human self. We can't attach to the higher truths, even though we like to. We have to actually like bring it down to our human. We have to love being human. We have to love everything that we have to experience and navigate through as a human. And just have fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Thank you very much again, Avalina. And also thank you everyone for being here with us today, for sharing your beautiful energies, sharing with us this space. Natasha Shirot, thank you. Pamela Shirot, thank you very much, Avalina, for this very informative and helpful session. Linda, thank you, Avalina, and Monsef for this beautiful call. And and again, everyone, you can sign up for one of the packages that Avalina is offering to us on the page yourdivineuniqueness.com/Avalina, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Avalina, AVALINA. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page, and the link also on YouTube video description and the chat boxes. And so with that, everyone, I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you on the next call. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.